Hello, it's your boy Sir Classy, and today I'll show you how you can mix your vocals. The key things you need to do to mix your vocals by yourself without the help of a mixing engineer. Although you still need a mixing engineer, but if you're like trying to put out content really fast, maybe like for an Instagram challenge or something, and you just need to get it done ASAP. You are done recording and you need to put it out there. So I'll show you what you can do to make it sound better. But if you're going to maybe distribute it on iTunes and Spotify and the rest, you do need a pro mixing engineer. But one way to show you just the basics you need to know to get your vocal sounding great for your maybe Instagram challenge or a demo that you need to send urgently to somebody else. So let's get in. So we'll preview this song. This song is by an artist called Thriller. He's a really great guy. So the name of this song is called OMG, which is On My Grind, produced by me. The beats, we recorded the vocals at my studio. Great guy. So let's hear the song and then I'll break down what I did for the lead, that is the main vocal. I won't really go into the backups, just the main vocals, so you can pick up the concepts from there.
OMG's on my grind. You know a nigga want it. UG's on my grind. It's that time to grind. I got my eyes on the prize, and the mermaid at the bullseye. And too much hurt, I'ma do so. A nigga never been a loser. Yeah, I'm never gonna lose. Win, 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 win. Win, win this song. Till then it gone. Once the time, my nigga, is that time to grind. Cause a nigga want this gone. One time, no for sure. Walking.
All right, so that's pretty much it. So let's break it down. So I'll just solo the lead vocal. So this is the lead vocal. I'll mute everything else. I'll mute everything else. Mute. I think I'll let this one play. Mute. All right, so let's hear just the vocals.
I'm never gonna lose. Win, 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 win. Win, win this song. Till then it goes. What's the time, my nigga? Is that time to grind? Cause a nigga want this grind. OMG's on my grind.
All right, so what I did was, first of all, I did a vocal double. Doubling makes your vocal sound heavier. So what you just do is you can select. It's not always necessary, but maybe when you made a recording and your voice is not sounding as heavy as you would like, so a doubling it can help you get that thick effect. So what you just do is you select the main track, then you paste the new track, and then you just make it unique really, and that's it. And then you play it together. So that's how to make a double track. So let's go to the effects. So I assume not everybody will need a doubling track, so I won't really treat it that much here, but let's go to the effects to see for the main vocal. All right, so the first thing you need to do, especially when you're dealing with singers, or if you're a singer, is you need to tune it. Make sure it's hitting the right notes. So auto-tune helps you with that. I do not, although an artist might want it to be extreme, maybe for a particular effect, but if it's an artist that likes his voice or her voice to sound natural, you make the auto-tune like not so obvious, just enough to make it sound good without us hearing the main auto-tune effect itself. So I did auto-tune to help the artist hit the right notes. I don't know, the interface of auto-tune can look a bit complex, but what you really need to know is the key. That is the key of the song. You set it to the key. After you get the key, you set the scale. If it's major scale, you get the major scale. Then another thing again that you need to look out for is the retune speed. So the more you increase it, the more the auto-tune effects. So if I put it at 0, it's going to add so much auto-tune sound to it. It's going to sound more like a robot, for example. Listen.
I'm never gonna lose. Win, 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 win. Win, win.
So you can hear that effect. So maybe for this particular song, that effect would be nice. You understand? So but I don't need it to be that much. So the less the effects, the less the sound of the auto-tune effect itself. So just make it in moderation. You don't need to make it too much. Maybe most times 9 to 11 is okay. But if what your kind of song needs so much auto-tune, maybe you are doing like trap, for example, I need that auto-tune effect, you can increase all the way maybe to 5. So but most times between 9 and 11 is okay. So let's leave it at 10. So that's basically what you need to know for the auto-tune. You don't need to mess with this place for now. All these parts are not necessary particularly for you, especially if you're just getting used to the interface. All these parts are not needed for now. Just play with the key, the scale, and the retune speed, and that's it. Then next, I added a compressor. A compressor makes the vocal level. That is, when you are singing some parts you have to sound more louder than some other parts. But how to achieve that without sounding like as if it's going to be irritating your ear? Like if I'm telling you something to your ear, I want to say it in a way that it sounds balanced without me staying calm. I should be able to shout without irritating your ear. So a compressor helps you reduce that irritation, helps you create balance. So you just play with the threshold. The threshold tells you when the compressor will start working. You can just drag, typically just leave the threshold. This is just a rough template I'm sharing with you. It varies. You can leave the threshold at about negative 18 dB. Leave the ratio at about 4 ratio 1. Leave the attack at 15, release at maybe 200 or 175. Then you can increase the volume with the gain here until it sounds louder again in your ear. So a compressor just helps you create balance. So you can stick with this template I shared with you, and it will work for most of your vocal takes. It will help you get that compressed sound. So yeah, because this compressor is not so hard, it's not so relaxed, it's just right for most vocals. And this is the setting I use for most vocal recording, although they vary slightly. So next thing I use is a delay to fill up empty space. Like let me turn off the delay so you hear what I did.
I'm never gonna lose. Win, 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 win. Win.
Let me turn this off. Let's hear it again.
I'm never gonna lose. Win, 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 win. Win, win.
But if I turn on the delay now, let's hear it.
I'm never gonna lose. Win, 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 win. Win, win this song. Till then it goes.
So what a delay does, a delay makes it sound more interesting, adds more life to it. So you don't need to add too much delay. Just 8 notes. It's about 8 notes, usually between 8 or 4 notes. Depends. You hear it when you are playing with it. Just play with the steps here. Then you know how basically how much you want the amount of, that is the timing of the delay. Then how loud you want it is the input. Then the feedback is kind of like how long it will stay. The lower the feedback, the less the delay will sustain. So you can add delay to, maybe you have some empty space in your vocal, maybe when you record, especially in chorus. So a delay will help you like bounce the vocals to fill up those empty space. You can use it creatively there. Then I use reverb to create life. Like, when you are singing in a room, the way the voice sounds in the room, want it to kind of like replicate it, so to have life. So a reverb plugin helps you add life to your vocals, makes it sound like you are singing in a room, in a hall. You understand? It gives you much life. So when you're playing with your reverb, what you really need to know is the wet. That's how much reverb you want. The wet is okay. I'm using Fruity Reverb too. The wet is what you really need to know. The size of the reverb room, make it as large as possible. Make it as large. This is size, so this is small. Just make it all the way. Then diffusion, make sure it's circular like this. Yeah, then that's basically what you need to know for reverb. The amount of reverb, which is the wet, the size, make sure it's at the largest, and then the diffuse, make sure it's all the way to the max also, so you can play with the wetness a little. So my rule of thumb when checking the reverb is too much is when you play it.
I'm never gonna lose. Win, 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 win.
Like the vocals should still sound heavy. Just add it a little until you start to notice. Once you start to notice the reverb effects, like you can turn it down all the way.
I'm never gonna lose. Win, 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 win this.
That was the level I started to notice it. So it's just as simple as that. It's enough. So once you start to notice the reverb effect in the vocal, most times it's enough. So just take it there and it will be fine. So that's basically how my chain for mixing vocals, the tuning, compression, delay, and reverb. Also, EQ is also important. EQ is also very important. I didn't add EQ here because of this plugin. I use a cruncher, so I kind of like played with the sound. But using EQ helps you cut out some frequencies. Let's assume I want to EQ this now. I can load in an EQ. They have to respect the chain. You can put the EQ before compressor or after compressor, but make sure the EQ comes just after or before the compressor, not after the delay or reverb. Just before the compressor, then you can EQ it and take out low frequency just slightly, just cut a little, like this. Most times it's enough for vocals too, but let's say maybe 80 hertz is enough for most vocals. And then you can
I'm never gonna lose. Win, 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 win.
You can do this to check for nasal frequencies like this.
I'm never gonna lose. Win, 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 win this song. Till then it goes. What's the time?
And that will be okay. So use your EQ to cut out nasal frequencies and low ends that maybe if it's too bassy, or just cut out low ends generally so that you can have more space to live as a vocal in the mix, so you can really breathe. Then when you've done all these effects, now you want to try and balance it up with the beats. So now let's play the beats.
I'm never gonna lose. Win, 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 win this song. Till then it goes. What's the time, my nigga? Is that time to...
Now, sometimes there can be some confusion when you're trying to balance between the loudness and the softness. So what my rule of thumb again is take it all the way down until you start hearing it slightly above the drums, just slightly above the drums. For example, so at that level, like it's like kind of like playing around the drums, just slightly above the drums. Now the loudness of the drums, I don't have to go and look at the loudness of the drum or of the beats to set it. Just by hearing it, you should know. You just increase it slightly until you can. Do not take it way above. If not, it will sound like the beat and the vocals are separate. You want it to like blend together perfectly well. So you just take the vocal slightly above the drums so that I can still rub with the melodies and the chords and everything, so it will sound great. So that was how I mix my vocals, like in a rush for Instagram challenge and the rest. But like I said, if you're going to share it on Spotify and the rest, you need a professional mixing engineer to get a great job done for you. So I hope this helps. Cheers. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Just tag anybody you feel like this would be of help to, and I appreciate that. It's your boy, Sir Classy. Take care.